Tiny Tina's Wonderlands promises to be a Borderlands experience for all those die-hard Dungeons and Dragons fans out there, blending magic and melee with the gunplay and adrenaline-pumping action synonymous with the franchise. Hey there friends, it's Codiak here, and today we're diving back into the world of Wonderlands to talk about the latest trailer, 2 new classes, and a whole lot of loot. Yes, I am well aware that this video is a few weeks late, but when you're a variety channel trying to cover a whole bunch of shiny new releases, it's easy to fall behind. That being said, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands remains one of my most anticipated games of 2022. Since forming the channel, Livin and I haven't had the chance to cover a Borderlands game, and we're chomping at the bit to put our classic legacy spin on this iconic series. We're already a few trailers into Wonderlands, and we've actually released a couple of videos about the game already, so if you need a crash course, we've got you covered. The big news from the latest trailer is the reveal of 2 brand new classes. Remember, you're not locked into playing as a specific character. Wonderlands plays much more like a traditional RPG, where you create a custom character, choose a class, and set off on a grand adventure. In classic Gearbox fashion, we're not just talking about warriors and mages. Nope, everything needs that slightly ridiculous twist. The Stabomancer is our first confirmed class. As you might be able to figure out from the name, the Stabomancer combines the best of stealth, subterfuge, and slicey-dicey magic to kill enemies up close and from afar. The first ability we got a taste of is Ghost Blade. This is a ranged attack that allows the Stabomancer to throw out an ethereal blade that deals damage in an AoE to any enemies caught in the path. As you can already see, the Stabomancer isn't your traditional rogue archetype, even though there are some more traditional moves in the mix. The second revealed ability is From the Shadows, also known as Stealth. While stealth, your abilities deal more damage. It's hard to tell from this quick clip, but it doesn't look like stealth breaks on the first attack, which means this is most likely a timed ability. It's just a guess, but you trigger From the Shadows and get a set amount of time to dish out some damage or sneak by enemies, and then the stealth mode deactivates. The unique gameplay of Borderlands adopted for Wonderlands is going to make for some really interesting opportunities for the Gearbox team. Because damage is dealt primarily from a distance, the team is going to really have to think outside the box to make something like a rogue-type class feel roguey while also having a playstyle that works within the confines of the game. It's a really interesting challenge, but also an opportunity to do things differently. And as we've seen in the few trailers already released, there looks to be a healthy mix of gunplay, melee, and magic. The second class revealed was the Berserker, and here again, things take a slight twist. As the name implies, the Berserker leans heavy into a frost element. The first ability showcased, Feral Surge, gives the player the ability to lunge forward and slam their weapon into the ground, dealing AoE frost damage around the impact point. The second ability showcased, Dreadwind, fits in that same vein. It's Whirlwind with a frost component, and while Spin to Win may seem a bit played out, I think it fits perfectly into the Wonderlands universe. One of the things we don't know much about yet is how progression could potentially impact all of these abilities. It makes sense that in a more traditional RPG, there would be some sort of talent system that would lend itself to augmenting these moves. We've seen these sorts of things in other Borderlands games, so it makes complete sense to expect it here. Because the 2 revealed classes lean heavy into an elemental aspect, I'm curious if the Gearbox team will try and give players more options by allowing them to manipulate that aspect of the class, or if the class identity will be more tightly tied to the created archetype. Hard to say at this point. While the latest trailer was put out there to showcase the first 2 classes, we also got a taste of some other weapons and spells coming to the game, and forgive me if some of these have been shown off before. I don't think anyone will mind if we double dip. The first thing that caught my eye was the large dice that, when broken, showered the player in loot. We've already seen a more traditional loot chest in the gameplay reveal trailer, so how is this thing different, if at all? In the very next scene, we get a quick taste of a new spell that summons 3 little serpents, snakes, something. I have no idea what these little guys are, but they pop up out of the ground and start attacking the enemy. We also see a shooting star type of spell right after. I thought this was a poison ability at first, but once I slowed it down, I became less sure. We all know that green usually means poison, but I'm not so sure in this case given the way the projectile splits and has a bit of a sparkly particle effect attached to it. I also thought it was neat to see something so iconic as a spike trap in the game. It's a small thing, and I guarantee most players will just run through without giving it a second thought, but to me, something so recognizable as a spike trap really leans into the commitment to the more fantasy RPG vibe Wonderlands is attempting to capture. The final thing that really piqued my interest was the last scene before the end page. It featured 2 portals and a sheep falling through them. I have no idea if this is a cutscene, an ability, an environmental piece, but it's hilarious. And if I get the ability to shoot sheep out of a gun or summon portals at a whim, sign me up. Now guys, there's no need to stretch this video on longer than it needs to be. If you're following the game, you already know what's what, and you're just here to keep the hype rolling. But indulge me for just one more second. This is a brilliant play by Gearbox. It's easy for a series to go stale, no matter how great or iconic it is, and when that happens, hitting the reset button is a smart play. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands isn't looking to change Borderlands at a foundational level, but what they're doing is making enough tweaks to the formula that it looks, feels, and probably plays different enough that fans of the series and potentially new players will come along for the ride. As we approach that March 25th release date, I've got a good feeling a steady stream of trailers and information will start coming out about Wonderlands, so if you're excited about the game and you want to follow along, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Our plan is to dive into Wonderlands on day one and create a whole mess of video guides, so if that's the sort of stuff you're into, stay locked in to Legacy Gaming. We also invite you to join us on Discord. We'll be opening up a special section of the server just for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, so if you're looking for a great community to interact with, check out the link in the description below. Finally, if you like everything we're doing here at Legacy Gaming and you want to support us even more, you can now do so by becoming a member. For just a couple bucks, you're helping evolve the channel and take our community to that next level. Check out the join button below to learn more. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.